Hello, I'm Benjamin Reese. I'm in Carlos Brocado's business ethics class, and my team worked on various aspects of business relating to employee treatment. Um, One person did, whistleblowing and the effect on people who commit that and the companies that are affected by it. One person did affirmative action. I did the income disparity between CEOs and their employees, as well as amongst the employees themselves. The reason why I did this topic is because in the business world today, there are CEOs who make many, many times what their average worker does. It is to be something to be expected, the head of the company to make the most money, but the degree to which they do so has sharply gone up over the past half a century. It used to be easily measurable, maybe one order of magnitude more, an order of magnitude being, a zero, so it might make 20 times more. Nowadays, many CEOs make probably, for the most part, several hundred times what their employees make. Some make over 1,000 times more. You have people who are making literally hundreds of millions of dollars each year. Meanwhile, they do so by relying on the work of people who often, in many cases, make not even enough to live and actually require government aid. And it makes me think about the fact that people should have a right to make money and all that, but that should apply to everybody. I often wonder about things like, you know, uh, free will and people's ability to do what they want with their life, but in some cases that often gets in the way of other people's free will. Because in this case, a CEO could make $200 million dollars a year. $200 million dollars just for that year will make them set for several lifetimes. And then you have many workers down below who make maybe $20,000 a year or more or less. And they're just trying to live by the day. They don't know if they're going to be able to eat next week. Um, if you take the utilitarian approach to this type of problem, it would make absolute sense to say that the CEO should redistribute their wealth because the amount of utility and happiness they actually get out of their money after the first several million, they're probably not getting much or anything. There is really no need for them to have that much money. So it would make absolute sense to redistribute that down to the workers, and people would have enough to buy what they want and what they need. For the moral absolutist approach, it's a bit more difficult because if you're going by just people's right to make money and to gather resources, it is not because it's not inherently wrong for people to gain resources in the first place. Who are you to say that they don't they don't have the right to keep whatever they make? And by redistributing their wealth, you are in a way saying that they should give the proceeds of their work to others. in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. People have people will live and die for years and years, and if one person is a little bit um, adversely affected by something, but it helps so many more people, then I say as a species we should go for that option. And when it comes to the employees themselves, we now have a culture where where people decide how much each person's work is worth. And it kind of gets into a chicken and egg kind of thing where you need a white collar job. You need a person in a white collar job to come up with a product, but you need the people in the blue collar manufacturing jobs to actually make it. So far they've allocated more resources to the white collar people who develop product because they are the first step and they require more skill and education, and without them there wouldn't be a product at all. Of course, as I just said, you need the laborers, blue collar people to also bring that to fruition, but you need less of them. I mean, you need more of them, and because you have more of them in total, people might, if they were to divide them up, their worth up equally, you'd get less and less for each person. And there's such a large labor pool for that they're easy to replace, and people will think that and just lower their worth, at least in their minds, and in terms of how they actually pay them. It's very, on one hand, you have to determine people's right to live their life as they want and to gain what they want or need, but that doesn't mean they should trample on the rest. And so I'd say, in order to protect the majority, some restrictions probably should be placed on the minority. Hopefully they can, a balance can be struck with this.